Or we all have major appliances in our house, and at some point, the knob for your stove goes missing, the lint filter in your dryer gets a big hole in it, or the shelf or the drawers in your refrigerator break. So, regardless of whether it's something simple like that, or if you have a machine that is actually broken, a washer that isn't spinning, or a dryer that isn't heating, a dishwasher that isn't draining, finding the parts that you need simply comes down to knowing how and where to look for them. And if you do it the right way, you can save yourself a lot of money. So let's go ahead and take a closer look. Okay, so to start, you want to find the tag that has the model information for your machine. Now, the location of this is going to vary just depending on the specific type of appliance that you're dealing with. So you can see here that on dishwashers, it is usually going to be somewhere along this paneling when you fold the door down. For refrigerators, it's going to vary depending on the type of fridge that you have. So on a top and bottom fridge, it's usually going to be somewhere along the lip once you open up the doors, either down here or somewhere along in here. For side-by-side refrigerators, it's typically going to be on the inside wall of the refrigerator itself, not the freezer side. And on a lot of French door fridges, once you pull out that bottom drawer, it'll be along the lip down here at the very bottom of the machine. For microwaves, whether it's a countertop microwave or an OTR, it's either going to be in the back of the machine or it's going to be along the lip once you open up the door right along this area. And for stoves, again, depending on which specific type of stove you have, sometimes it'll be on the pull-out drawer down here. Sometimes it'll be on the back of the control panel. Other times when you pull out the drawer, it won't be on the drawer itself, but it'll be along the metal piece that runs up the side right here. Or if you have a wall oven, once you fold the door down, it's usually somewhere right along in here. For a top load washing machine specifically, the tag information is usually going to be located either on the back of the control panel, or when you lift up the lid, it'll be on a lip somewhere just underneath that lid. And for pretty much all dryers as well as front load washing machines, you'll find the tag information right down here where this guy is pointing to, which would be just underneath the opening for the door, or sometimes it'll be just up here at the top. Now, once you've located that tag, you want to go ahead and copy the model down so that we can use that in order to find the parts and the part numbers that you're looking for. For this part, as an example, I'm going to use model numbers from some of the appliances around my house, and we're going to see if we can find the parts for them. Most of my appliances are pretty basic, nothing fancy. We'll go ahead and start with my refrigerator. It is made by Whirlpool, and it's probably about 20 years old. So first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to come to Google with that model number and type it in just like this. And then you want to put the word parts after it and hit search. And it's going to come up with a bunch of different websites that you can order parts from. You can see here, the first one is Sears Parts Direct. You've got Whirlpool Parts, Part Select Appliance Parts. You can go ahead and click on whichever one you want to start with. Do keep in mind that not every single website has every single part. Depending on how common or uncommon the part is that you're looking for, you might have to check multiple sites to find it. But we'll go ahead and click on Part Select Appliance Parts. If you look right here, you can see that this is the model number that we put in. And if you go ahead and scroll down, you'll start to see a list of all the parts that this website has available. Scroll through the list and see if you can find exactly what it is you're looking for. Down here at the bottom, there's usually going to be a view more section or the next page. Most appliances, there's anywhere from like 7 to 11 pages of parts. So if yours doesn't pop up on the first one, don't worry, just keep looking. It's probably in there. But for this example, we're going to go ahead and pretend that my refrigerator has a broken refrigerator crisper pan. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And you can take a look at the pictures and just verify that this is the specific part that you're looking for your machine. You'll notice over here off to the side that this particular one costs $105.55, which in my personal opinion, I think is really crazy, considering it's just a plastic drawer. Now, you will see here too that it is official OEM. So I will start by saying that there is nothing wrong with buying OEM. If you are a OEM person, then this is where your journey stops. You can go ahead and add it to the cart and purchase it from them. I personally don't really ever buy any parts from any of these websites just because they're so expensive. I just use them as a way to be able to get the manufacturer part numbers so that I can look for them elsewhere. And if you remember earlier in the video, I mentioned that if you know where and how to look for the parts, you can save a lot of money. So let me show you how we do that. If you scroll down a little bit, what you're looking for is the manufacturer part number. You want to go ahead and copy that, and then we're going to look for it on Amazon first and then eBay so that we can do a price comparison as well as delivery availability. So go ahead and click on Amazon, and we're going to take that manufacturer part number and we're going to put it into the search engine and scroll down just a little bit because the first results that came up were not the drawers. And now we're getting into a couple of them. And what you want to do is you want to verify that the number that it shows here, the part number, that it matches what your search part number was. So you can see that this one matches this one for $49.25. This one is different. This is 2818656, and we are looking for 8661. Now, sometimes the results that it gives you here will be compatible with the one that you searched for, but to avoid any kind of confusion, I typically just stick with whatever is an exact match. So again, here's one for $49.25. This one wasn't the same. This is the same, but it's $184. The one below it does match, and it's only $30.80 with a $20 delivery fee. And then there's just a whole bunch more options that are a lot more expensive. So for this particular one, it looks like the best bet is going to be this one right here for $49.25. Today is Friday, January 30th, 2026, and this is saying that if I order it for where I live, it would be delivered Monday, February 2nd. So I'd only have to wait 3 days to get it. Now, let's go ahead and put a pin in that and head over to eBay. Let's put that same part number in and search, and then we'll go ahead and sort them by price plus shipping lowest first. So we've got our results, and again, you want to make sure that the part number that comes up in the listing matches what you have in your search engine. And this first one that pops up is going to be the cheapest, and it is $39.98. So let's go ahead and click on this one, and we can see right away that this comes from Appliance Parts Heaven 2014. They're a used appliance parts store that is pretty common on eBay. A lot of these companies, they buy the appliances in bulk and just break them down for parts. And if we go back to eBay, you can again go down the list and you can see that this next one is a used one as well. Here's a brand new one, and it's going to be $45. So on eBay, you're going to have used and new options, whereas on Amazon, everything is going to be brand new. With eBay, my experience is that the delivery time usually ranges between 4 to 7 days, whereas with Amazon, if you're a Prime member, you're typically going to get it within 1 to 3 days. So at that point, you just have to kind of weigh your options and, decide what's the most important to you. Again, $40 for a used one right here. That's probably going to take about a week to get to you. Whereas Amazon was about $10 more, but it's brand new and you'll get it in about 2 to 3 days. Now, I do want to mention that I usually point people in the direction of Amazon just because of the faster delivery times. But one of the great things about Amazon is their return policy. So if you get it and for some reason it isn't the right one or it's damaged, doing an Amazon return, I'm sure many of you know, is very simple. Amazon really doesn't give you any guff about it. Whereas with eBay, you're dealing directly with the seller most of the time. And the truth of it is, they're not always the easiest to deal with. So again, I think I would recommend Amazon over eBay in most cases, but there are going to be some parts out there that you're just not going to be able to find on Amazon. And let me go ahead and show you a prime example of that. So this right here is the model number for my dishwasher. Now, I actually had to do this about a year ago. And so if we come down to this one right here, Whirlpool parts, click on it. And I'm just going to skip over all of this. I'm going to go to page 3 because I know that's the page that has the part that I'm looking for. And it's going to be the lower dish rack assembly where you put like your plates and pots and pans and stuff. I'm going to click on that, and you'll see that on here it is $196.88. So I'm going to take the part number here, copy it, and go over to Amazon, enter it in, and you'll see the results that it comes up with are nothing. There are no options available on Amazon. So we head over to eBay, put that same part number in, and it comes up with only 3 results, which isn't great. We've got a brand new one that looks like it just came out of the box for $149.99. There is another option here for $164 plus $12 delivery. And then the bottom one is $75 plus $118 to deliver, and it's not even the right part number. So really, our 2 options for this are just this one and this one. Obviously, this is the best deal. And not only is this about $50 cheaper than buying direct from the Whirlpool parts site that we were just on, but it also says or best offer. And so for those of y'all that aren't familiar with how that works, you just go ahead and click on the link. And when you come over here, you can go to make an offer, and it'll give you 3 defaults that you can choose from, or you can put in a custom amount, send it. The seller is either going to accept it or decline, or potentially send you a counter offer. My experience is that with sellers that have this type of option, they're already kind of predisposed to being willing to take something less. That's why they put it there. So if you come under, most of the time, they're going to take it. So you can probably get it for even a little bit cheaper than this right here. It's not as good of a savings as what we were looking at with the drawer for the refrigerator. But again, like I said, if you know how and where to look, you can save money. You do not have to buy directly from those parts places. I just want to be able to show you one last example. This is the part number for my dryer. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to click on Parts Doctor. And I want to go ahead and scroll down, and we're going to be looking for a brand new lint filter. Here it is right here. We'll click on it, and you can see that it costs $19.67, but it's also another $11 for them to ship it to you, and it won't arrive until at least February 4th, between the 4th and the 9th. We'll scroll down and get the manufacturer part number, copy it. And because I know that this is a very common part that a lot of sellers are going to have available, I'm not even going to bother with eBay. I'm just going to go straight to Amazon, and we're going to put that part number in and do a search. And again, this is going to be a very common part, so you're going to find a bunch of sellers. Make sure that you are matching up the part number in the search bar with the ones that are coming up in the listings. Here's one for $12.99 with a 10% discount, which is still going to be $17 cheaper than if we bought from that other site. Plus, because I'm a Prime member, I can get it tomorrow. And that may not even be the cheapest option. So we can look down here. Here's one for $6.96, but it does have a couple of bad reviews, and the delivery time still isn't until 3 days from now, as well as one here for $9.99. Plus, it comes with this little cleaning brush. But again, delivery isn't until Monday, February 2nd. So me personally, I generally tend to stay with the ones that say overall pick, just because they usually have a higher rating right here. There's a lot of people that have bought from them. It's a little bit more expensive than those other 2 options, but I do get it a heck of a lot quicker. So I've taken you through a couple of examples now, showed you how to find the model number for your machine, how to get the part number that you're looking for. You can use this method to find pretty much any part that you might need for any major appliance that you have in your home. But if for some reason you can't and you're still having difficulties, feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section with the model number of your machine and the part that you're looking for. And I'll do my best to scour the internet to see if I can find something for you. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. It really does mean a lot to me. We'll catch you next time.